People, welcome to another edition of that finger tapping frenzy that we all know and love. There's WWE SuperCard with me, Big Jim, and a bit of Ninja Boy playing Rocket League in the background. Now, in today's episode, bumper edition, what have we got? Well, there's going to be a lot of this. That has proved certainly that the boards do carry over. So if you've gone through 2 rounds, yes, nailed him. And then some of this. And a little bit of this.
Gonna hit the ball around and almost in. Got the save, but first round, no! Crossbar post and out, and we will put it in now.
Just on that last note, the Rocket League video that you just saw a clip from was in fact Ninja Boy's first foray into his solo Rocket League videoing career. Wasn't it, Ninja?
Yeah.
From last weekend, and it went very well, judging by the feedback we've had from you wonderful people out there. So he'll be doing another Rocket League video this weekend. And what's the mode you'll be playing this weekend, mate?
The new Heat Seeker game mode.
Heat Seeker, that's the one where the ball just goes all over the flipping place. Comes out now and again, and it's a barrel of laughs. Certainly to play and hopefully to watch too. So he'll be doing that this weekend. And also, some of you have tracked him down on Xbox and have been playing him one-on-one on Rocket League 2. So, you know, if you do spot him, feel free to put the invite in. He can only say no. He can only say no, but he might say yes. You just don't know. Depends what kind of mood he's in. Bit moody. You know what he's like, a bit moody. No, he's not at all. He's a good lad. Very good lad. Very lucky dad to have such a good lad. Anyway, you don't want to hear that, did you? There's all these SuperCard people going, what's he talking about Rocket League for? SuperCard, let's get on to SuperCard. Clash of Champions. What have you made of Clash of Champions so far? I'm going to show you the strategy that, for me to see it, I'm going to need to put some bins on. I'm going to show you the strategy that's got me to level 448. This is technically day one. It started 8 PM UK time on Thursday evening. It's now Friday evening, midday-ish. So this has only been played, because I've been working this morning, this has only really been played yesterday evening and a bit overnight and a little bit early this morning. So how have I got to 448? What's the secret? Well, I'll tell you, the big secret is not credits. You shouldn't be spending your credits. But I'll come on to that, because just firstly, the more astute and observant among you will have spotted King of the Ring complete. So let's go and collect these rewards. I'll show you my King of the Ring deck when I've collected these, because some of you do ask. You do ask. And here we go. Here, female would be good. I've got quite a few single females. You know what I always say about the single females? That is sweet. Sweet Asuka is a double. I actually only got her as a pull about 2 days ago. I think I'll powder her up, but I don't think I've played any matches with her. That is absolutely wonderful. Just before we disappear from here though, let's come out, because I always chain these. I keep saying to you, chain your King of the Rings. You just don't know what's going to happen. Some of them obviously are going to go overnight, but you do find that you're not the only person who sleeps at night. Other people sleep at night as well, and there's a chance that you might win your matches in your sleep. Right, there you can see I've got my deck fully fledged females, because I've got that Natty now from the tokens. She's actually stronger than my standard heroic Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella! What picture have you gone with, Nikki Bella? It's a nice one. That's one of my favourites right there. Anyway, as you can see, she teams up very nicely with Alexa Bliss, another lovely young lady. And you can see I wouldn't normally have 2 singles thusly in my single matches, but the last guy I was playing had fully heroic pros, which I can't beat, because I only got a mixture of standard heroics, standard pros and half heroics. But that way I beat him, because he had trash double teams and trash females. So that's how I won that last game. So what I'm going to do is put these back where they were, put the picture back up there and start another one. Again, I'm very lucky with my WrestleMania 36 support cards, because they cover all stats, which is very, very useful. Right. Oh, I've already started it, haven't I? Oh well. What an nincompoop. Well, that should change it. It'll change them back, isn't it? I've not changed cards out. Anyway, look, we're not interested in that now. It's a Clash of Champions. Clash of Champions! Don't have a trumpet, so I can't do a... Well, you don't play a trumpet like that, do you? Play a trombone like that. I haven't got a... What instruments have you got? Got some instruments of destruction. That's my instrument of destruction right there. Sat right behind me. Right, Clash of Champions, what do? Let's try and get the basics out of the way, because there's not a lot there. Let's try and get the basics out of the way, because there's a lot of confusing instructions out there already. How have we got to 448, was it? It might slip down a bit, because it's been a couple of hours since I looked at this. So I don't know if it's updated itself. But the way to do it, and I'm going to play through this, is not spend any credits. Don't spend your credits, because it's really not worth it. When you come to seeing if you're going to play an extra round, it's like 100 credits just to play an extra round, 40 credits each to power up one card, or was it 240 or 260 to do the lot? Just forget it. Just forget it. You might be able to get a few bouts now and again if you really want to plough through, but otherwise just forget it. You don't need it. And I'll show you why. We'll go into a match. The best way is just to play. First thing I would say about the actual gameplay is I've seen Shawn Michael appear once in round 1. Just the once. Everything else has been round 2. So that shows you how the odds are stacked against you. But I'm assuming you know the point of the game right now, or the point of the championship to get big points is to find our friend there amongst the various cards. Now what the two things I would say is, firstly, try and work your way either down from the top or up from the bottom, because if you do go through 2 rounds and you don't find Shawn Michaels, it carries the board over. So you'll know that anything that you've found on the board in these 2 rounds will be in the same place in the next turn, if that makes sense. I'll try and illustrate that as we go along. So we'll start near the bottom row with this fella. Vandabulous Vandumbo. Now, what I tend to do, and what I've found has been quite effective, is you just pick the single stat. You go for charisma. As you can see, he's in the 230s there, 236. But I'm not worried about which card it picks up. I'll just make sure, firstly, it plays the support card that's got charisma on it. I think just about anyone I've got, Samoa Joe might be a bit nip and tuck, but just about anyone I've got can beat him. So pick the single stat. The thinking behind that is, whichever card he chooses is only going to destroy 1 stat, because of course you're going to carry these cards through to the second round and you want them to be as strong as possible. And if they get 2 stats knocked out straight away, obviously you've only got 50% chance of winning in the next round. So just try and go for the single stats every time. Sometimes it doesn't give you that option. Sometimes you're not that lucky. Right, so we've got a card on the bottom. So we'll pick that, and there you go. See, straight away it's gone, oh, we know what he's doing. He's picking the single stats. It's trying to give me a double. So under these circumstances, it's not really that important. I'll just play the weakest card, I think. Just whack the weakest card in there, because it's going to pick double stat me whatever I do. And that is essentially it, to be quite honest with you. It's trying to get single stat matches. Yes, you do need to know which cards are the strongest and which are the weakest, but you can't select your deck. There's nothing you can do about that. You can't create a balanced deck with the way the game is at the moment, because it just gives you what you've already got. But what you can do, I mean, obviously I've lost there, what you can do is just keep a close eye on the stats that the opponent is offering. Now I'm back down to singles again, so a sensible thing would be to go for probably speed, because that's his lowest stat, and I'm going to beat him with any one of my cards there, so we'll do that. So you can see the rationale behind it, but also if you're worried about, you're not quite sure how the opponent card is going to proc, just look at his 2 strongest stats. The 2 strongest stats that he's got when the card hasn't played a game are going to be the stats that he can proc on. So you don't need to have a pre-knowledge of all of this. You just look at the cards. Just look at the cards as they are, and the answers are in the cards right in front of you. Right, we'll bang on here. Speed is the best one there, 239. Both of mine are going to cuff him there, so we'll just play on. Excuse me. As I say, I've not seen Shawn Michaels appear, the Heartbreak Kid, appear in any first round yet, so it doesn't surprise me we've not accidentally stumbled across him. And that's, excuse me, just slurping my tea, but a thirsty lad, and this is my lunch break at work, so I'm trying to cram this in very quickly. Yeah, what was I going to say? I can't remember what I was going to say. It's not that important, was it? Toughness, again, Taker is going to take it against his big bruv, his little bruv. Not really his bruv, but you know what it is, story-wise. And we march on. We march on to the second round. I see again, look, you could spend 40 credits in powering these cards up. It's just not worth it, because we're going to get to end of round 2. If we get to the end of round 2 and we've not found Shawn Michaels, we're still going to get 42, 45 points, something along that nature. I won't get the full 45 this time, because obviously I've lost that one match, but you're going to get points in the 40s, very probably, which isn't a bad hit. It's not a bad hit for 2 rounds, considering if you do find Shawn Michaels, okay, you've got your 50 bonus, but it's at what price? You know, if you've had to use credits to play an extra round, or if you've had to use credits to power up your cards, it's not helping. Now then, where are we going from here? We will look at one of his top 2 stats. In fact, all the boys there are all okay on the power side, so we'll choose power. And what I'll do is, if we get to the end of the second round and we haven't found the Heartbreak Kid, when we start next time round, we'll work our way down from the top. Now, if you do get to the scenario where you've worked your way up from the bottom and then you've worked your way down from the top, and you still haven't found him, it's going to make the third game interesting, because you've got to try and remember where exactly you'd got in each way. But as you can see, we should clear the bottom 2 rows doing this. Right, well, it's gone into doubles again, hasn't it? Okay, well, if that's the case, let's whack in with Mizzles will just about do it, so long as Charisma's not. Yeah, look at that. It does have a habit of spotting what your weakest stat is and making sure that is the flipping game that you end up with. But of course the game's geared up like that. One of the things I was going to say, actually, I've just remembered now, is I'm a bit annoyed by the fact it only reveals a certain few cards that you can play each time, because really you should be able to access anything on the board, because in theory Shawn Michaels might not be available till the last card, and let's face it, the way this is geared up, it does feel like sometimes he is only the last card to appear. As you can see, I do have 6 peaks up there. I've actually collected those as the game's gone along, because those peaks are irritating rather than useful. I'll explain what I mean in a minute. So right, what happens if I'm going to do speed? I'll be alright. I'd be alright with Big Show, but I wouldn't be alright with I'll just throw it out to chance. Let's give it that. Wait for speed. Oh, speed hasn't come on. That's useful. Anyway, yeah, these peekaboos, whatever they want to call them, they are collectible on the board, and that's how I've collected those 6. I think I had 8 actually. I've used a couple just for a mini trial run. But you know, they reveal 2 cards which they don't keep permanently revealed. It literally is a quick peek and then they disappear again. So you've got to try and remember what those 2 cards are. And with the shape of some of these boards, especially early on, that's not an easy thing to do. So I can't really recommend. It's double statting me again. Doesn't really matter what with. So when I come to the end of the second round, at least we know where that card is. So we're not going to touch anything from the bottom rows when we start again, which we'll be doing fairly shortly. No, we don't want an extra round. Yeah, 260 to restore all. That's a lot of credits. So I mean, what's it going to cost you to replenish all your bouts? Is it 100 for the 5 bouts? Right, so we've got 36 points there. Right, where have we got to? 463. It's not bad, is it? It's not bad when considering we're not playing. I keep saying we. I'm including you guys in this. I'm including you guys in this whole project. In this certainly this effort of free to play. Still a long way to go, of course. Bearing in mind it'll be midday Monday UK time. Well, that's annoying that's cropped up at that precise moment. Right, let's just try and quickly clear that because we want to get back in I'll get back in. It's gone to trainables. I should see Aska in there. Let's train her up because I know I've got the other one trained up. And we'll just do a quick blanket, chuck everything in there. That's fine. We'll add that in there. Select all, bang, there you go. Bosh. Quick bosh. 83, right, that'll do. What's that brought us down to? I don't know if you noticed, equipment cards. Two important things on the equipment cards. Again, I wish I'd mentioned this now at the start. Firstly, equipment cards have been taken away from your overall number of cards. They've got their own numbers, so you can have up to 100 equipment cards, which is good, because it means that your card limits should be a bit fairer now. But also, if you go into your Clash of Champions deck, you'll notice in all of my cards there, within the deck, every single card has got an equipment card on it. That's for two reasons. One, it's trying to make the lower cards have better stats, so they've got the cards that are maxed out, and the higher cards have got equipment cards that haven't had all their games played on, because of course every game you play is adding a game onto your equipment card and unlocking the bonuses that you can get. So if you've got equipment cards and you've got WrestleMania 36 cards, make sure they're all linked together, and certainly the ones that need powering up are being used, because this is one of the best ways you've got of powering them up quickly. Right, now we need to go back in and we need to start from the top, don't we? At the bottom two rows we knew exactly what was in the bottom two rows, so we'll start away from however high up it'll let us go. Right, thank you, Shaunicus. Yes, goodbye to you. So we'll start up here now. Charisma or toughness, what do we reckon? 2, 3, 6, 2, 3. Well, Tommaso Campo would probably get beaten. Let's risk it on charisma. That's cool. We'll be okay here. Yeah, I'd be interested to hear how you're getting on. I mean, I must admit, the first hour when I saw this game, when I got to the end of the second round and it said I could play a third round for 100 credits, I looked at it and thought, are you serious? You actually serious? You're going to charge that much? And then an extra 160 on top if you want to charge up all your cards? I was like, man, that's just bonkers. I thought, moneymaker, that's all it is. It's a huge moneymaker. I'm just going to carry on doing the singles, to be quite honest with you. But then sort of getting into it a bit more, and I sat with Ninja Boy, we were looking at it and beginning to dissect what was going on, beginning to try and analyse where things were appearing and what have you. And then that's how we evolved this strategy. So I'm not even playing my flipping support cards there. Are we going to stick with that? Yeah, we'll just stick with speed. But you can see the rationale behind going with the one stat. It just gives you extra strength coming into that second round. Yeah, you might lose the odd game here and there, but it keeps you in the game longer, particularly if you find HBK in the second round rather than the first. Eddie. Okay. Well, should beat him on power as long as there's not any procking involved. Procking. Actually, of course, yeah, we're cool there because of his major stats. As I said, you can tell what it's going to proc on by just checking what his two high stats are. Right, now is HBK hiding up there? I hope he is. I'd like to find him sooner rather than later. Right, obviously we'll hit toughness there. Because it would be nice to get him. I don't want to be playing this one particular round forever and ever and ever. Right, so we move on to round two. Now we're coming down to that middle bar, aren't we? So, could this be HBK? Be HBK, come on. Ah, why are you not HBK? Why? Somebody's brother instead. Power, if we go power, who's lost their power so far? There's a couple of them. Oh, it's a bit dodgy, isn't it? Well, we'll go for it. The odds are still slightly in their favour, but Yeah, oh yeah, devil you. You little devil you. And sadly that's take a bit in the dust. But it's not a big loss. We just carry on. Charisma. Everyone's charisma is okay, is it? Apart from Christian, I suppose. That's going to be the next one. You watch this, it'll pick Christian. Come on, we know you're going to pick Christian. Oh no, haha, oh, psyched it out. Psyched it out, to psych out. What? Oh, right. Well, charisma again now, he's down at 135, so even if he does pick Christian, there's no way his 135 is going to win. And then we move on. Right, so where have we got to? If it's not going to be here, whoo! It isn't. So we are going to go into a third round on this one by the looks of things. Toughness or power? We're okay with missiles. We're not okay on toughness with a cup of coffee. So we just go power. Sorry, it took a little bit of time to think about that. Thinking about a few things at once, not least of which is I need to be getting back to work shortly. Right, HBK. We've only got one chance of hitting him here. And there he is. Isn't that just flipping typical? Now then, single stat, speed. That's the one that Mizzle's been done on. Power and toughness. Yeah, 2.3, 2.4. He's 2.3, 2.3. We might get away with power toughness. Fingers crossed, people. Fingers crossed. That has proved certainly that the boards do carry over. So if you've gone through 2 rounds, yes, nailed him. If you do go through the 2 rounds, work your way from whichever way you suit. Either start at the top and work your way down, or start at the bottom, work your way up. But just remember, when you go into the next game, do it from the other end. I was going to make some rude comment there, but I won't, because I'll try and keep this as family friendly as possible. So there we go, 92 points. We have had up to, I think, 107 points is the highest managed to score so far in a single round. But that's the strategy. So to summarise, go for the single stats wherever possible. Don't be picking out which card you think will win. Don't bother with that. Go for the single stats, because that'll help you chisel out some of the cards quickly, and also make sure that you've still got 3 strong stats available on your cards when you go into the next round. Secondly, make sure you've got equipment cards that need powering up, levelling up on any of your WrestleMania 36 cards that you're lucky enough to have in your deck. There's nothing you can do about choosing your deck. But again, you know, if you've got decent support cards, as I have, you're fairly fortunate. And if you've managed to get a full deck of WrestleMania 36 Pros, which again I've got, that does help. There's no denying. That is one of those things that's beyond your control. But please, you know, credit-wise, you don't need to be spending credits on these peekaboos or having an extra round. Think about it. If you went for an extra round, if you went for a round 3 on Shawn Michaels because you think you're about to get him, 1, you may not get him. So that's the first thing to consider. 2, you would have to power up your cards as well, because they would have been through at least 2 matches. So even if they've survived, because probably not all your cards have survived, then I've lost at least 2 of their stats. So the chances of you finding Shawn Michaels and then having enough power left to beat him with the cards you've got remaining, without charging them up too, is pretty minimal. Don't have an exact figure. I'm sure some mathematician out there could work out all the odds and probabilities, but it's down to common sense, really, isn't it? It's down to common sense. Well, there we go. I think I've probably waffled on enough there, haven't I? Don't normally waffle on this much. I'll try and come back this weekend if I can to do a bit more. But if I don't, you will still have the weird, the wonderful, the wacky Rocket League aficionado, Ninja Boy, coming up with his video this weekend. Was it Breakaway? What was it?
Heat Seeker.
Heat Seeker. Very similar. Breakaway and Heat Seeker. Almost identical in this wonderful brain of mine. So, Heat Seeker it is he'll be playing. So, what do you need to do? Well, firstly, let me know in the comments down below how you're getting on. Have you been spending credits? I'll be interested to find out from those people who've been spending credits up to now. Stop doing that and just try that a little bit of free play on the basis that we've gone through there and see how you get on. you might find it's not making an awful lot of difference either way. You might even find you're getting better progress and quicker progress because you're not trying to do these third rounds and powering up extra cards and taking all this time spending your credits and your hard-earned money. So I'd be interested to hear from you people who have been spending credits, well, how you're getting on, but also just rein in on the credit spending and let us know how you get on without spending credits for a bit. Just give it a go, just for half an hour, it wouldn't kill you. And also, big also, if you want to find out when Ninja Boy's video comes out, you know what you need to do. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed down below. Whack us a like if you like this video, please. We're always grateful to see some thumbs ups. Not so happy with thumbs downs, but feedback is feedback. It's always good to have some feedback. And there's all the other social media. There's Instagram, there's Facebook, there's Twitter. Until either of us sees you next time, you stay cool.